Ooh, I think we're live. Trevor, are we live?
I think we're live.
This is a thing. Hey, everybody. My name is Jeff Rosenbaum. I'm from Guardian Moon Games. I've got my great co founder and partner, Trevin, on the phone with me as well. We've got John is here, and then we've got a couple of awesome guests that are going to be playing a game with us tonight. Thanks for joining us on YouTube Live. This is all an experiment, so I'm sure that means things will be breaking left and right, but we're going to. Trevin is a miracle worker and will do a bunch of things for us. What you're seeing right now on the screen is Destination Danger in Tabletop Simulator, which is really exciting and fun. We've been working towards putting this on Tabletop Simulator and getting this out for people. Certainly to give everybody something additional to do during the COVID-19 pandemic, where we're all trying to find ways to entertain ourselves from our homes, sometimes virtually with friends and family if we're not able to get together in person. So we're working on doing some of that. I'll let Trevor talk about that in a few minutes. But at a minimum, we definitely want to engage with our audience, engage with all of you to invite you to, check out, watch, hang out, and be a part of our games. Jump in the chat. I'll be trying to kind of monitor that as we go through the game this evening, and we'll answer questions about whether it's about Destination Danger, the game, whether it's about the development process, whether it's about anything else that might be coming from Guardian Moon Games in the next year or so. I'm very happy to talk about any of those things as we go through the stream tonight. But we're just here kind of to have some fun, to show off what we're the game and tabletop simulator for folks, and to yeah, just enjoy each other's company. So I'll stop talking for a minute, but I do want to talk. We mentioned Tabletop Simulator and getting this out into the Steam Workshop here in the near future. I'm going to give Trevin a few minutes to talk about that, what he's been working on, and kind of what to look forward to.
Yeah, thanks. So basically, the game is in already. I've been able to import everything from the core game and the expansion. And really, before we release it out into the wild officially, there's just a few things that we'd like to uh, add just little quality of life additions like maybe a button for the maps to automatically resize, and maybe when you choose your character, your player card automatically appears in front of your place, and your little character token appears in front of you. Just a few little things like that. Nothing too super fancy. We kind of want to just keep it as a card game that people can just mess around with the cards the way they like, because if we add too much structure, then it might make it harder for people to just completely mix up the scenarios however they want. We want to keep it as flexible as possible. So yeah, that'll be coming here in the near future, probably the next week or two. So stay tuned for that.
Fun stuff. And I love one of the things that Trevin alluded to there, which I'll just talk about briefly, is that for those who are new to Destination Danger or have your copy, and you're looking for some unique, fun replayability, one of the things that's really fun to do is to not just focus in on what are the specific campaigns themselves, but do a bit of a mix and match. Grab some of the items from other campaigns, throw them into your favorite, take some of the enemies, or replay out which characters you're going to pull in, or if it sounds like fun, if it's going to be a good adventure, make one of the enemy characters one of your player characters for a round. A lot of this is meant to be very flexible. It's meant to just give you the players an opportunity to jump right into a game without having to do a ton of character creation, all that other stuff. But the bounds by which you can get really creative and do a lot of things on your own are only set by you. We don't want to kind of arbitrarily set those in front of you. So with all of that as kind of a bit of an explanation of where we are today, what we're going to be working on here in the near term, and everything else, I'm going to kick it over to John, who's going to be our game master for tonight, and he's going to run us through one of the campaigns. John, do you want to jump in and then also introduce us to awesome Randy and Justin, who are here to play with us tonight?
All right. Um, I'm John, of course, the game designer, and I'm always the game master. I don't know why. I just because Trevin and Jeff didn't want to do it today. We're gonna go
You're
through
just so good at it, John.
I, you know what? I'm fine with that. I love the game. It's great. So what I want to start with just real fast is before we go into the scenario, just go around and, like I said, introduce. Of course, you heard Jeff already, and Trevin and me, John. We make up what is Guardian Moon Games, and we have two really great players with us today. We have Randy, who we met at a convention, right, Randy?
Yep. Bet you a couple of them.
Yeah. And then turns out Randy and I have a mutual friend who we were able to get in touch with Randy through, and he volunteered to be one of our Tabletop Simulator playtesters tonight. So he's played before, and he loves the game. Say hi, Randy.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Randy.
Great. And we have Justin, who I have known for an incredibly long time. And Justin, amazingly enough, has not played this game, at least not in this form. He may have played snippets of it in other D&D campaigns I may have run in the past, so he may recognize a few things.
I think I've been through two playtest sessions, but yeah, I haven't seen the final product and have not touched my final copy. I am sorry to admit, live on air in front of you.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You helped playtest the expansion packs.
Oh, all right. Well,
That is
anyway,
true.
so yeah, here I am playing this in production for the first time, and I will probably make one Canadian joke, at least one. Can't guarantee I won't make more.
It's nice to know what we have. All right. Well, tonight we're gonna play everyone's. Oh, and just so everyone watching knows, due to technical issues, I'm actually not in the simulator. I'm watching it. So Trevin's gonna be my hands for everything tonight. Right, Trevin?
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna play everyone's favorite scenario. Let me just walk you through real fast. Trevin's got the scenario cards down here. You can see them near the bottom left of your screen. And we have the 5 scenarios that exist right now. And then at the top, we have the character cards, which we'll be choosing soon. And then in between, since we are going to run the Are You My Mummy scenario, which is everyone's favorite scenario, it's frankly the funnest, Trevin is already laying out the pertinent cards for us right there.
I think Jeff was actually doing that.
Oh, nice.
We have many hands.
Right.
Many
I don't
hands.
need credit.
Many hands. So when you first choose a scenario, as the game master, you'll look at the scenario card, and one of the great things it'll tell you is, as you read the scenario, the other cards that you need will all be in bold, and so you can look at the bold words, and they'll tell you which other cards to pull for the scenario, so you can get them all ready. For this one, we need the Mummy. We need Jack Massoud. We need the Mummy. We need the Kopesh of Burning Sands. We need the Mummy's Heart, and we need Jack Massoud. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go around and we're going to choose our characters. So we'll start with our guests. We'll let Randy choose first.
Okay. A lot of them are, I played a few of these and they're all a lot of fun. I don't know. I think I might try, we'll see here, Will Clark. He's the adventurer. He's your stereotypical action figure. He was a farmer, but decided he likes fast cars and dangerous women. So he chases anything that gets his blood pumping. He's like your action star guy.
Yeah.
So
why don't you go ahead and grab that card and move it to
Okay.
you should be able to move it over to you. That way you can look at it
okay.
front and back.
And I also have the physical card on me, so I can look at both.
Excellent.
All right.
All right. I suppose it's my turn, and
Yep.
I guess I will choose Allison Steps, the curator.
Hold on, don't
Oh,
take that
yeah.
away yet.
Excellent choice.
She's here to curate I don't know, why is she in a nightclub and what is she curating? All the drinks, right? All the drinks. She's here to curate every single drink in the establishment.
Oh no! Read the back of her card because you will learn. Allison curator is kind of a hidden title for her. It's what people call her, but it's not necessarily what she is.
Oh, it's in quotes. Excellent.
Yeah, she's more than meets the eye, which is really fun.
All right. Let me get
All
this.
right, Trevin, and then go ahead and grab that card, of course.
Okay, I am going to be an oldie but a goodie. I'm going to be Ezra. And Ezra...
He's like the perfect Trevin character.
Yeah. Ezra is the archaeologist. He's got
So
the brains. He's very British. He just oozes British charm, and his demeanor is very British. Besides that, he's British. No, I'm just kidding. His strength is his intelligence is what he's best at, and he knows different languages, and he can beat people up with his bare fists. So that's good old Ezra. I'm gonna put him just down here.
Go ahead and grab him.
It's Ezra right
and
there.
Jeff.
All right, I'm very excited. This is my first time playing this character. It's one of my favorite characters in the expansions, but I'm going to be playing as Veronica this evening.
Could you
Veronica
put it back for a
Sumboy.
second?
Oh my goodness, I can put it back.
Because I can show it on the screen. If you take it away, I can't show it.
I can't show.
If
Here,
you
I'll put it. Yeah,
If you
here's
just
what I'll
hold
do. I'll
down,
put it-
if
I'll
you just
put
hold
it
down
over here in
Alt,
front of
you
me.
can look at it.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. So yes, but I'm gonna play as Veronica. She's a personal favorite. She is from our expansion. She was one of our backer co-created characters, which is really great. And she is the agent. She's probably one of our youngest casted characters. Comes in as a bit of a special agent. Has all those types of skills. Has some karate knowledge, things like that. She's a triple threat, if you will. Coming into a scene like this, and so I'm definitely going to play Veronica, and I'm thrilled that you guys did not take her before I could.
Actually, out of all the characters, I've probably seen Veronica played the least.
Oh no!
But I think people are scared of her.
I think she's
they
intimidating.
She's overpowered. And she's really not. She has a fantastic weakness that really rounds her out and makes her quite fantastic. Okay, so now that we all have chosen our characters, oh yeah, there she is. We have our map. Now, usually our map card in the physical game is the same size as our other cards. And if you've never seen our physical game before, our other cards are actually quite big. They're larger than standard playing cards, but still the size to fit into a men's shirt front pocket. So if you're all sitting around a table together, they're just fine. But here on Tabletop Simulator, we have allowed them to grow in size so that we can use little markers to. They're not quite meeples. What are they? They're stands.
Standees
To mark our place on them. And the cool thing about these maps, and I love these maps, they were beautifully designed. They're simple and elegant, and they're double-sided. So if you play the scenario with one map, and you want to play it again, just flip the map over, and it's the same location with a new layout.
There we go.
So that you can play it with a different layout. And I actually always play this location. So can we flip this card over and play the other location?
Sure. Should be trying to get it to turn back into a deck.
It's a Q and E or your rotate buttons.
No, I was trying to turn it back into a deck. It's not working.
I think
I think you might need to change the orientation.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine. It's probably good.
Should probably lock that card just in case one of us might accidentally pick it up.
That is a good idea. I'll lock it. I got it. All right. We are locked. Ready to go.
Did you flip it?
Yep. Can you not see it?
We are currently looking at a blue side. Well, John can't see because he's has technical issues. So, but
No,
yes,
I'm watching the stream, and it's still the other side.
Yeah, no, it's the blue side, John.
Okay, it'll come up in a
So
second.
you tell us. You tell us where you want us to start off.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and yeah, I'm watching you do it now on the stream. So I'm gonna go ahead and read y'all the scenario, and y'all can move your standees to your starting positions. All right. Is everyone ready?
Yep. I got the
Yes,
scenario
ready to
on
go.
the screen.
All right. The Songbird is a Cairo nightclub on the banks of the Nile. It is a crowded night and finds, and then we have character in parentheses and character in parentheses, handcuffed to one another, sitting at the club owner's private table. So, whenever it says character in parentheses, the game master gets to choose two of the characters and put them in there. So, let's go with Allison and Ezra are handcuffed together at the club owner's private table.
Okay, where is that table?
We're going to say it is when you come in the entrance of the nightclub.
Okay.
On the right hand side, it's the table closest to the stage.
Oh, okay.
Not the booth, but the table.
Oh, okay.
all right. Well, I'm interpreting that as here because of the entrance.
Yes.
But if that's wrong.
The
But, yeah.
closest to the stage, you said.
Yep.
On the right side.
On the right side, closest to the entrance, or closest.
No, to the stage.
Very
The
well.
right side of the entrance closest to the stage.
Yeah. So Will Clark. I think you said Ezra and Allison, right?
Yep.
Oh, I thought I had Ezra.
No, yeah, that's Will Clark. Did you grab their own one? Or somebody else got that?
Will Clark is. I have Will Clark's right here on the edge, right here.
Oh, I've got Will Clark on one side, but Ezra on the other. Oh, there's one thing I need to
Oh,
fix.
there it is.
Okay. Okay, so we're
Fixing the tabletop.
there we go. Okay. So we're sitting we're together basically. Let me
Yeah.
let me put a little bit of an angle here.
And you each have a hand cuffed together.
Okay.
Well, I would like to say that this is probably the first time in my life this is experienced, but sadly, this is not.
All right. The owner himself, Jack Massoud, is at the table as well. He presents an old clay jar containing the mummy's heart.
So for the sake of those watching, I'm placing our create your own character little.
Oh, I was gonna
little standee.
bring some pawns in.
Oh, well, we can do that too. I'm good with pawns. Are you saying something about Jack that we should know?
Oops. Here's another one. I didn't want to put that one in.
All right, you put the one where you want it, and I'll take the other one out.
He has a twin brother. Oh no.
Okay.
All right, you all ready?
Yep.
Yep. Where do you want the rest of us?
All right. Let's see. Let's say Veronica is dressed as a waiter 2 tables away pouring champagne.
Delicious.
So any table that's 2 away from the table they're at.
Perfect.
And while you get Veronica settled, that leaves Will is on stage disguised as a member of the evening's entertainment.
Hey.
I'm an actor.
A thespian, even.
He's not very good at it, though. He ain't the sharpest stick.
Oh.
All right, we are set, John.
All right. There is a scuffle at the front door. A scuffle, if you will. As a mummy bursts through, wielding an ancient khopesh. And for those of you who don't know, a khopesh is an Egyptian sword.
Kevin, do we want to use our awesome mummy?
Yep.
I love it.
I think I can actually attach the sword to the mummy. But we'll just not worry about that right now. So there we go. We got a mummy. There's his khopesh. All right.
And he is in.
All right.
So John, he's placed right at the door by the coat check.
Uh-huh.
Just so you have mental eyes on that.
All right. So its gaze falls wantonly upon the jar and those sitting at the table.
All right. Ooh, okay.
All right. That is the scenario. So basically where we are is Will's up on stage pretending to be a member of the entertainment for some reason. Veronica is pretending to be a waiter at the nightclub for some reason. And Allison and Ezra are handcuffed together with the owner of the nightclub. Not to the owner of the nightclub, they're handcuffed to each other. And the owner of the nightclub's at the same table as them, and he's handing them the jar with the mummy's heart in it as the mummy bursts in and sees this. So that's what a scenario in Destination Danger looks like. You set it up, it's the worst possible situation that you could possibly want to be in, and we go from there. So
Right into the action.
Oh my
right
goodness.
into the action.
And
So
I
the
just
first thing we have to do
goofed
is
it up.
Come up with a reason how you got here, why you're here.
There we go.
So we'll start with Ezra and Allison, who are handcuffed together. Why are y'all handcuffed together?
Well, I imagine that we were being interviewed, let's say, by the Cairo police, but we really, really, really had to make this appointment to grab this artifact. So we broke out of prison, even though we're still handcuffed to each other, and we are on our way to conclude our business and hopefully getting ourselves out of this pickle pretty soon.
Yeah, the reason why we got thrown in jail is because my translation for a certain word in Egyptian ended up being the wrong one, and I accidentally called the cop something I shouldn't have. And so I'm a little embarrassed at the moment, a little winded because I'm not used to running for my life. And the fact that we got picked up by Jack is rather vexing, I would say.
So Jack knows you're handcuffed together?
Yes, he is doing that, and he's giving us this heart because, well, he's doing it voluntarily, just because I believe that he's being haunted by extremely bad dreams ever since this thing came into his possession, and he wants to hand it off to someone else who knows where it needs to go, and
that could be legitimate. So let's take a second and review what we know about Jack from the back of his card. that the game master would tell you at this point, and that Jack owns the Songbird nightclub, and he's not a man that you would normally cross. He has no problem doing his own dirty work, and he's known, by the police to be not just a business owner. So, and y'all would know that. Y'all know that this deal with Jack is not legitimate. All right. So, Veronica, why are you there?
So I'm in town very specifically because there's a very this Jack Massoud guy is known to the folks that I work for. And I know that he deals in shady artifacts, and he's got kind of a side hustle going on. The Songbird nightclub is fairly known here in the area, and so he's kind of a man of a bit of prominence. And I'm here to try and expose for the people that I work for, expose who he really is, and try and figure out if I can gather additional evidence to use against him. So I know loosely about some of the other. At least about Ezra and Allison, just kind of know who they are, why they might be here, sort of deal. But I don't know too much beyond that. I'm not necessarily a party to that, but I'm trying to see what I can gather about this meeting, because I know that they're going to be talking about some of the types of stuff that my employers would be interested in exposing Jack for. So that's really more my motive, be it the nightclubs.
All right. And Will, why are you there? And what are you doing on stage specifically?
Well, he tried. He was going to come in the front door, but he's kind of has a reputation here. He's been thrown out of here a couple times for drinking and starting fights. So he heard that somebody's mom's heart was going to be sold tonight. So he figured he needed to get in and stop somebody's mom's heart from being stolen. And he saw some of the musicians, and he picked up a tambourine and slid in with the musicians to pretend to be one of the stage, the entertainment for the night. But he's keeping his eye over here because he's gonna make sure that he's gonna steal back some, because he hears there's a jar with somebody's mom's heart in there. So he's gonna steal it back and give it back to them.
Yeah, you don't steal mom's hearts.
Yeah, I mean, he's his mom, has kind of a bad heart back in Illinois, and he's just couldn't bear it. It also sounds like fun anyway.
Yeah. Just so the people listening at home know, your character, what's his intelligence level?
His is a 4
out of
10.
Yeah, so he's below average intelligence. But what's your strength level?
9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's why we keep Will around. All right, so Will doesn't know anybody else. Allison and Ezra know each other. And Veronica, other than Jack, do you recognize anybody in here?
Yeah, so I do recognize Ezra and Allison. I just don't know them well, but I know kind of who they are and what they're, yes, as them. Because I had some background information that this meeting was going to happen, which is why I came. But that is all that I know. I do not know Will on the stage.
Okay. So, the mummy has come in. There's a scuffle at the front door. People are trying to get him out. Let's just go through real fast. Will, you're probably the first one to see him. What do you think when you see the mummy?
I see a monster. I don't know exactly what it is. I know it's causing trouble. It could be trouble because I'm good at danger. I don't know what sort of creature it is because I'm not that bright. But I'm thinking there's something up here. So I kind of put down my tambourine and I'm ready to do some action.
All right.
So I'm getting ready. I assume that the mummy's. Wait, in the scenario, does it say that the mummy's doing anything right off the bat?
Not
It's a
not at
scuffle.
first. Not at the moment.
Yeah.
He has scuffled with the doorman, and that's about it.
Yeah. So I think something's about to happen. So because so I'm just getting ready to see what happens, but I'm also keeping an eye on the table to see if I have a good opportunity to go steal mommy's heart.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to take this opportunity to remind everybody that the nightclub is full of people. There's dancing, going on. It's not at full swing, but it's early evening. All right, so Allison and Ezra, you turn as everyone at the tables turns to see the mummy. First thoughts.
My eyes kind of bulge out of their sockets, cause yeah, wasn't expecting that.
Allison, being the purveyor of information, recognizes she puts 2 and 5 together to see, hey, we're here to pick up a mummy's heart, and there's a mummy on its way. And she says, oh, dear, I believe the original owners have come calling.
I like that, the original owner. All right, I can tell you that Jack's reaction is not good as he stands up immediately out of his chair. He's still holding on to the heart. Veronica. What are you thinking?
Yes. So I mean, I'm watching this cast of characters at the table, almost to the point where I am, over pouring the champagne, if you will, at this table, because I'm so focused on them versus focused on the actual tasks that I am doing. But I don't. I manage that well. I'm reasonably trained. But I'm focusing very heavily on them. And when I see their gaze start to move towards the door, I turn and look and immediately kind of get recoil in a little bit of fear of like, is that really a mummy? Like, Veronica is well prepared to deal with a lot of stuff, but not necessarily the unnatural, not necessarily the kind of crazy. And so she is caught, maybe a little bit stupefied, a little staggered, and she kind of takes a couple steps back and is going to kind of bump into this round table with her back, and kind of be surprised at the whole scenario coming into play.
Right.
So she's not going to react right away. She's definitely surprised.
All right. Well, Jack has stood up. His whole body is shaking. The lid of the jar is like wobbling on top, and he is visually, like, the blood is running out of his face, quite terrified. You hear him whisper to himself in Egyptian, not loud enough for anybody to really understand what he says. But lucky for Jack, the men who work the front door are not just really good doormen, they're also his thugs. And one of them steps forward and pushes against the mummy and pulls out a little revolver and shoves it in his chest, not quite realizing what he's dealing with, and says, hey, buddy, you gotta get out of here. This is a nice establishment. At which point, the mummy cuts off his arm with the khopesh.
Ah!
Yeah, several things happen at once. You have the quintessential lady scream, as it was witnessed by a customer, and she screamed really loud, which got everybody's attention.
Oh my goodness.
And the music stopped, and the people dancing all turn around and see this mummy at the door while this guy with an arm next to him screaming on the ground in pain. Here's the other thing, though. No blood. The arm and the stump are both sizzling and steaming.
Ooh.
Yep.
I shout over to Jack and say, unless you want to end up like your henchman, you should hand over that right now. I understand that you haven't been able to let go of this jar for a while. There is a passphrase that you must repeat to hand over ownership.
Oh, that's good. Uh-huh.
And I put my own hand on top of the jar, and then I ask him to repeat, even though his Egyptian is probably better than mine. I just ask him, repeat this phrase, and then I very calmly but hurriedly start going through a chanting handover ritual.
Which would be really great if Jack's mind was there right now. But it's not, as he is completely transfixed on what's over your shoulder, which is the mummy. At which point, Jack himself, with his other hand, because he now only has one hand on the jar, because you also have your hand on the jar. His other hand goes into his jacket and pulls out a gun and seemingly points it right at you, Allison. But you're close enough that you realize it's going just slightly over your shoulder as he unloads 4 shots at the mummy.
So,
All right.
so hearing those gunshots, that woke Veronica up.
Yeah.
And I am all of a sudden kind of hearing the gunshots. It's kind of like that trigger, just like all of a sudden I'm in the moment now and realizing a little bit of what's going on, focusing back on Jack. And I'm going to realizing there's a mummy to my side that I really want nothing to do with. And Jack has pulled out a gun, and he's the guy that really I'm here for. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ditch the champagne and whatever else I'm carrying as a waiter there. And I'm going to start making not incredibly deliberate movement yet, but I'm going to start making my way towards that table with urgency, but not necessarily like calling a ton of attention to myself as if I'm like, I'm not Will Clark running in and like barging people over kind of deal. If that makes any sense. And so I'll move, John, because you're not able to see for a few seconds. I'm going to move Veronica a little bit closer, probably about a table further forward, towards where Jack and the others are, and I'll kind of hold there for the time being. But I think that would be my immediate reaction after hearing those gunshots.
Okay, so Will sees that this guy just got his arm chopped off, and he's kind of he says, "Oh, this is a great." What he just thinks this is a great fight to get into. This is what he's into. So he's gonna jump up and he's gonna grab onto the chandelier and swing over here and get ready to. He's gonna go getting ready to.
He's just gonna swing.
He's swinging off a chandelier and does like a flip and lands right here.
So classy.
And he's looking at the mummy's Kopesh, and he's looking to disarm it. He knows that he's been in enough fights. And he saw this thing get shot and nothing happened. So he knows he needs to get that. He's going to go for the sword when it's. I guess I'm a little too. I can't really jump in. I guess on my move, I'm not really able to do that just yet. But I'm getting ready to.
Yeah, and he doesn't care about all the screaming patrons and employees trying to funnel back towards the stage to get away from the mummy.
He's running in. Yeah, that's why he swung across the chandelier, because all the crowd was running the other way.
Oh, yeah, to clear all the dancers on the floor.
Yeah.
Excellent.
He's very thoughtful that way.
Well, also they're in his way, and he wouldn't be able. This is the fastest way he could get over there.
I mean, yeah, like they're just a hindrance at this point. John, so you can kind of paint the picture for us. Where is the crowd headed? Because like there's really just the main entrance. Are they just kind of headed that direction? Are they hiding? What's going on there?
Everyone was stunned and silent at first after the scream, and they watched the guy get his thing off. And then when the gunshot started, everyone started heading backwards towards the stage. Some people have tried to go in the kitchen looking for another way out. But as you can see there on this version of the map, there are only 2 entrances and exits: the front door and the stage door. So everyone hopefully is starting to figure out that they can get out through the stage door. Ezra, you know, a gun was just fired near your face.
Yes. Quite
You're
upsetting.
still handcuffed to Allison, and your host is in a mortified state where he's not thinking clearly. What are you gonna do?
Well, I think I'm finally putting together like what the reality is, you know. I've been studying ancient dead languages for a long time. I never expected one of those languages to come back to life and, you know, threaten my existence. And so I think kind of like Veronica, I think the gunshot kind of shook me to my senses, and I'm currently looking at the jar because I am interested if there's anything written on it that I can decipher and hopefully use to my advantage in this situation. Because I am, you know, I think it was mentioned earlier that he was here for the heart, and so I am studying the jar to make sure there isn't anything that's been missed so far.
All right. Well, the mummy is quite glad that everyone has cleared out. He raises his khopesh and points it right at Jack, and slowly, because he's a mummy, he's a slow moving mummy, a very classic cinema mummy. Starts walking towards Jack with his khopesh extended, calling to him in very, very, very ancient, I would say Egyptian.
So how close has he gotten?
At this point, he's moved probably in his turn period to the edge of the dance floor. Just advanced a few,
So
feet.
maybe right underneath the U in nightclub.
Yeah, not even like still off the dance floor,
Okay.
but below the U at the beginning of the dance floor would be an accurate description.
Okay.
And he is calling out to him in ancient Egyptian. Does anyone here speak ancient Egyptian?
Where
I
would I
do.
find that?
Me.
Oh, good. And where would you find that information? So for our players at home.
Oh, well, you would find that information on the back of my card, which I have right here.
Could you read the little section that lets us know what your character knows?
Indeed. He's traveled through most of Europe, Africa, and Asia. He understands languages both dead and alive, and the secrets of the past cannot hide from him.
Okay, and what's your intelligence?
It is 8 out of 10.
Okay. And at this point, I'm going to make an executive game master decision, and instead of telling you what the mummy's saying, I'm going to let you tell me what the mummy is saying. And if you say drink your Ovaltine, I'm going to be very mad.
Well, give me a second now that my bid has been taken. I would say the mummy is saying, give back what was mine that I may once again rule over this land.
Ooh, that's not even, like, that's not good either way. I like that.
I mean, that's just what he said. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. What's the rule over the land? That's not.
Yeah.
That's no good.
It's an ambitious mummy.
Yeah.
He'll be running for parliament next year.
Yeah.
All right. He's got great ideas on foreign policy.
One thing I should mention, though, real quick, is the artist for our card illustrations is Lindsay Alvord, and she is an amazing artist. And as you can see from all of these cards, she did an amazing job. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. Every time I see the mummy's heart, I'm just like, man, that looks cool.
Oh yeah, and we should mention our logo and splash art artist, Billy Garrettson. Of course, did our logo and our cover artwork for the boxes and all our promotional artwork. Also
You can kind of see
artist.
that behind the board, but it's a little bit covered up at the moment.
So what we're going to do is we're going to check in with Allison, and then we're going to check in with Will. Okay?
All right. So Allison, unfortunately, having several gunshots go off behind her, or right next to her head, luckily not through her head, she's kind of in a strange predicament where she has her left hand on the jar, which carries a curse where if anybody touches it and is unable to chant the ritual of release, is permanently attached to it, as Jack is. So on one hand, she's attached to the jar. On the other hand, she's chained to our good friend Ezra here, and so she has no hands free whatsoever. So she is just, while I suppose Jack is kind of freaking out and backing away from the mummy, unfortunately, he is attached to the jar, which is attached to Allison, which is attached to Ezra. And we're on the other side of the table, and so...
he's pulling the whole table
yes.
with him, basically.
And Allison feels like she is the weakest link in this rather hilarious chain of flesh, and hopefully not much more than that. But she's trying to appeal to Jack's sense of calm, and probably failing at it. But she's trying to get into his head that he needs to say the words of release, which I suppose Ezra, being the guy who knows ancient Egyptian, he probably taught me this in our previous, because I guess I got him the information as to where the mummy's heart could be found, i.e. that's why I'm here. So he has taught me this phrase before that, but I'm trying to recite it to Jack so he can recite it, but it's just he's very panicked, and we need to calm him down in order to get out of this situation.
Just so our players at home know, what on your character card allows you to have so much knowledge about what's going on?
I believe in my character description, as the curator in quotes, Allison is kind of the information broker across the world. If you need to know where something is, contact Allison, and for a fee, she'll let you know where it is.
Yeah, she's sneaky. She's really great. All right, so are you going to attempt anything this turn?
I am just trying to calm Jack down and get him to say the incantation, so I don't have to be the weak link in this flesh chain.
Okay, so you're going to continue to do that?
I kind of don't have any other choice. Both my hands are tied, literally, right now.
All right, Will.
Okay, I'm going to run up to the mummy and try to disarm him, because I saw him just lop that dude's arm right off.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to do the first, do that Will Shatner two-arm swing fist in its head, then try to grab its sword from him while he's stunned.
Oh, yeah, like fighting a Gorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so he, at this point, is not even, looking at you.
Yeah, so he didn't expect.
Right. So you're going to come up from behind?
Yeah.
Almost? Okay. So you're going to run up from behind him, do the two-hand swing over the head, right?
Yeah. And then try to grab his sword from him.
Go straight for the sword. All right, so he's got no defense against you because he doesn't care about you. You don't have a heart. No offense. And he takes that hit in the head. He just takes it, and you hear some bone cracking and some, some crumbling of old parchment type sound. It's very off-putting, not the familiar thump that you like.
I should come ready to do the Foley work for this. Like, this sounds like fun. Why am I not?
And then you just grip. Are you doing both hands on the sword?
Yeah, I'm going to use both hands on the sword.
Now he's got that hand like thrust out, pointing with the sword. So you're just going to reach down and grab it.
Grabbing it, yeah.
As soon as you get your hands over his hand and you're clamped down on the handle of that sword, your hands, they start to sizzle.
Uh-oh.
Like you just grabbed a cast iron pan without a glove on.
That's not a sound you want to hear.
Yep.
So are my hands stuck to the sword, or does that?
How manly do you want to be? Do you want to like keep going, or are you gonna react?
Well, is it so right now it's just burning hot? Well, I'm a tough guy. I'm at least gonna try to rip it from him. I don't know if I'm gonna keep holding onto this sword, but I'm gonna man up and hold for a bit, and then just at least grab it from his arm. Maybe throw the sword after I'm done. But
okay, so you're gonna try and wrench it from him.
Yeah.
One good pull.
Yeah.
Okay, you pull the sword from him, but his hand comes with it. You just snap his wrist, and it comes like right off. And you tumble to the ground because you put way too much effort into it, like way too much. And so now you're on the ground with your hands around his hand, around the sword. Your hand still, sizzling to it. But the blade falls against the dance floor, which immediately lights on fire.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yep. Which brings us to Veronica.
Oh, dear gracious. How does Veronica react to this? I'm wondering if so at this point, I'm close enough that I would have heard some of the conversation between Allison and Jack. And I think at this moment, given how dire the situation is, Veronica is going to try and slip past Ezra and get up next to Jack. And while he's focused on the mummy and everybody else, I'm going to pull out. Veronica has a Beretta with a silencer. I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to put that right up against his ribcage. And speak into his ear and like give a very knowing look over to Allison and to as much Ezra as I can, but more kind of focusing on Allison, and just tell Jack, listen to what the lady has to say. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know if that thing is for real, but if that thing is for real, you need to stop this. And if you stop this, I can get you out of here. And try and kind of play to his self motivation a little bit, knowing full well I'm not just gonna let him. But
all right, this is good. So you go and you do that. You get behind Jack. No one's stopping you, but there is a bunch of people that he is continuing to back up into, who are all trying to get up on the stage and out the back door. That corner he's headed to is getting kind of tight. Fortunately for you, Jack is, for lack of a better word, a gangster, and the sound and feel of a gun being pointed into his ribs is quite familiar to him. Almost comforting at times.
Every Thursday.
Many a time. And it's a sensation that brings him out of his little headspace that he was in, enough to catch what you were saying and to change his gaze from the mummy to Allison. So, Will, you're being dragged along with Allison and Jack and the table.
I think you meant Ezra.
Oh, yeah, Ezra. Yeah. Ezra. So.
Yes, I am still trying to focus on the jar, but obviously things have escalated, and it's very hard for me to decipher something I was trying to figure out on the jar while everybody is shuffling around like a game of Red Rover.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I was able to read something on the jar that could be helpful, but I don't know. Do you want me to come up with that, or do you have an idea of what that would be? Or
You can come up with that. I'm fine with that.
okay, um, I read that if 3 people put their hand on the jar, then one person can let go.
Ooh, without saying the incantation of release.
Yeah, as long as there's if as long as you don't need the incantation for someone to be released, as long as there's two people's hands on it, the third one can be let go.
Okay. So are you going to act on that right now,
Um,
or are you just going to hold on to that tidbit for later?
no, I'm gonna grab the jar
Okay.
and see who
At,
lets go first.
at which point, Allison, you have a firm grip on the jar, right?
I do.
All right. Ezra, you put a firm grip on the jar, and the one person who's trying to actively let go of the jar is Jack, who has a gun in his rib cage, and he is suddenly released from the jar, and the psychological burden that goes with being the one locked to the jar. So he is now free, and his mind is clear. Okay. So he is, Veronica, he is a lot more lucid and a lot more, I'm done with this situation. I want to get out of here. So,
am I, as a reaction to this, if you'll allow it, John, am I able, when I see his hands come off that jar, to try some kind of a takedown maneuver just to get him down, so that I can at least, kind of knock the gun out of his hand?
are you just gonna kind of like Vulcan nerve pinch him where you are, or like clock him on the back of the head and just?
Well, yeah. So I'm there. I've got the gun in his rib cage. I probably have an arm kind of around him a little bit.
Right.
And then I might try kind of like a trip maneuver, something like that, to try and get him down on the ground. Not that I'm necessarily going to put his arms behind his back, but think of like a typical cop maneuver, I guess, to do that kind of a thing. To at least try and get the gun out and try and get a little bit more control over him, if at all possible.
Oh yeah, he's lucid, but he's flummoxed. So you can definitely you're going into I'm arresting you mode, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like, I want to get away from this, so I'm gonna try and get him down, get some control over him, and then try and start moving him away from wherever the mummy is, and kind of thinking to myself, that's somebody else's problem, right?
Yeah, you can totally do that. That would be a reaction to what just happened. Okay, Allison.
Hello.
You are now in possession of the jar.
All right.
Ezra's hand is still kind of stuck to it too, but he doesn't have possession of it, whereas you do.
What I imagine is the situation here is that the way, unfortunately, that Ezra grabbed it, we have basically both arms overstretched with a table in between us, and so we're in this kind of awkward situation where on one set of hands we're both attached to the jar, on the other set of hands we're still handcuffed together, and there's a table in between us, and it's really awkward to get out of it. And I see the mummy approaching, and a what's the best way to put this? A very ham-hock-fisted man just ran up to the mummy, attempted to, well, I guess he did successfully wrest the Kopesh out of his hands along with his actual hand, and is currently sitting and burning on the knife stand. And Allison is no stranger to, let's say, the adventurous type, and she sizes up Will and just like, okay, so this guy is probably 200% brawn and only 10% brains. So she shouts out really loudly. He's like, "He's undead! Stake him through the heart!" And what she's going to do is she's right next to the chair at the table, and she's with her right foot. She's going to try and kick the chair and slide it towards Will Clark, the adventurer, and hopefully he will fall for the mummy vampire, in quotes.
So you're trying to distract him, give him a mission of
basically delay the mummy while we try to figure out how to get out this table out from between us and exit the premises.
All right, that works. Okay, now there's a side effect to being in possession of the jar now, which is you hear the heartbeats of the jar in your head.
All right.
And you don't feel right.
A little dubstep.
Yeah. You don't know exactly what's wrong, but you don't feel right.
It's just the beat just keeps going, and you're just waiting for it to drop, but the beat's not dropping. It's just not dropping.
It's maddening.
You look up at the stage and there's no DJ there, and you're like, what's going on? So
the true mummy's curse.
All the time.
Yep. Let's go to Will, who's on the ground next to a burning floor, holding a sword holding a mummy's hand, holding a sword.
So his flesh is not like sizzling like bacon right now because he's holding on to the wrist of the mummy, right?
Any part of him that was sizzling when the mummy had possession of the sword has stopped sizzling since the mummy no longer has possession of the sword.
So the sword's not hot, so I can use it?
Yeah. I mean, your hands are burnt, first degree, some second degree for sure.
Uh-huh.
I mean, when has that ever stopped you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a Tuesday night.
That's a tomorrow problem.
Yeah. So I heard somebody yell, "Stick him in the heart." So I'm gonna take the Kopesh and I'm gonna try to stab the mummy in the heart.
So you're just gonna stand up right there in front of the mummy and just run him through.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna stand up right there in front of the mummy. You're gonna run him through the heart. And you're just gonna look at him, and he's just gonna look at you, and nothing happens. The mummy's not on fire. You're just standing there. So you're gonna stab him a couple more times.
This usually works.
And he's just gonna keep advancing on you, like you don't even exist. And he's going for the heart. So he, during this time, is just gonna keep backing Will up, and the mummy's gonna advance, and he's definitely between the D in Songbird and the B in Club. He's moved up.
Will is or the mummy?
This map got really small real quick.
Yep. Ezra, what you doing?
Well, I am trying to figure out this new puzzle that's been brought before me. It's the puzzle of both of my hands have been attached to this other person. They didn't really prepare me for this in college.
I keep expecting the two of you, you're handcuffed together, you both have the hand on a jar, you're across the table from each other. At one point, you're just both going to look up and lock eyes and fall in love with each other.
Yeah. Oh.
If this was a movie, that's what would happen.
So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically tell Allison I'm ready to chant the
release chant.
The release chant, yeah. Since we can both be on the same page.
I do acknowledge what basically is going on is that you're speaking words, and I can see your mouth move, but this heartbeat is getting progressively louder in my head, and I can only hear every other word that you're saying.
Oh.
But I guess I can put together enough that you're motioning. I'm trying to read your body language, and I guess I can get from your eyes just
I'm kind of
put it
motioning with my head. The jar.
Okay.
Okay. So are you, Ezra, going to go ahead and say the chant and release yourself from the jar?
Well, I think we have to say it at the same time, don't we?
I have yet to establish that, so that would be up to you.
Oh, I thought that's what you said to Masood.
Oh, well, he didn't say it at all, so
Yeah.
He was a little panicky. So
your intent is to get both of you to say it at the same time.
Yeah, that was my intent because I thought that was established
Okay.
already.
Allison, did you understand that?
How about I leave that up to you, John?
Okay. Um, this is what I'm gonna say happens because I'm looking at both of y'all's intelligences, and they're two of the highest in the game.
Yeah,
And
they are.
y'all are, whereas Ezra is book smart, Allison is street smart, and she gets things. So Ezra's gonna attempt. You're gonna attempt, Ezra, several times to get Allison started saying the chant. And eventually she's going to realize what you're doing and start to chant along. Okay?
All right.
All right.
Ezra?
Uh,
All right.
I think.
So-
Yeah.
So that's what y'all are doing right now. Veronica.
Yeah. So you interrupt me with whatever Jack might be doing here, John, because you are the controller of him. But I'm trying to GTFO at this point with Jack, and I'm not even necessarily interested in because there's a bit of a gathering of people trying to run out of this place. So I don't want to follow them. I don't want to get caught in that crowd. That's not what I want. So I'm going to try myself and Jack to see if I can. Here, I'll stand up his character real quick and put him next to me. I'm going to see if I can start shuffling us. I'm not terribly strong, so I'm going to need him to kind of play along, but maybe hopefully I can encourage him, not necessarily in a threatening way, but just like, we got to get out of here. Let's go. And start kind of moving him back across the stage towards the kitchens. Wondering if I can start moving that direction to get away from whatever's happening, getting him with me.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
How far am I able to move him then, John? Because my strength is depends on how amenable he is, but potentially we could get a reasonable distance across the face of the stage.
He's still becoming, Jack again. You can get him to the stairs of the stage. Okay. In the middle, not quite all the way to the middle, but to where the stairs begin, and he's eventually going to start coming to and trying to fight you, mostly as his eyes gaze on the giant fire burning on his dance floor that no one has bothered to address.
Not my problem.
Well,
Doesn't he have sprinklers in this place? I mean, come on.
It's the 1930s. No,
Not
they
up to
don't have
code.
sprinklers. They have chandeliers to swing on.
they ran out of sprinkler money because of all the chandeliers they put in.
They were like, we could put in chandeliers, but they would set off the sprinklers. And they're like, well, we definitely want the chandeliers to swing on.
I mean, makes perfect sense to me.
Priorities.
All right, Will, you have been stabbing a mummy quite a bit, and nothing's working. And he is almost to the people that are doing something else that you do not concern yourself with.
I'm still trying to figure out how to stop this guy. He's kind of ignoring me, which I'm used to. Can I start to take the sword and slash at his legs to keep him from moving?
You definitely can. When stabbing doesn't work, I'm
gonna slash him, cut off his legs.
All right.
He's not stopping.
Yep. His legs come off, and he is still just not stopping.
Oh.
He is crawling forward, and you are perplexedly
A little smaller.
Yeah, I was gonna say make him smaller in the Tabletop Simulator.
You are perplexedly just hacking away at him, and every time you do, you light more of the nightclub on fire. A fact that you have yet to register.
No, I haven't really put two and two together yet.
Yeah, that's a tomorrow problem.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. I gotta kill this dude.
Somebody should really stop this fire.
Yeah. Luckily, at this point, the majority of people are out. But there is a bar and the fire is starting to head that direction.
So you're saying the crowd is mostly dissipated. Do we have any other obstacles kind of going on with people or anything like that in the club, or are we pretty free at this point?
Most everybody's gone at this point. You know,
which I will say for friends at home and others who are going to play this in Tabletop Simulator at some point, as you saw, Trevin was adding different little meeples and tokens and things like that throughout. Like if you wanted to put in like a whole crowd of people and then move them out of the way and create actual obstacles for your folks to have to like either run through and things like that, that's part of the fun of what you can do here. So.
Yep. Okay, so let's go back to Allison and Ezra. You have successfully chanted the release spell, and you both let go of the jar, and it drops to the table between you.
Shamil, Shamapple.
I shout out to Ezra. Okay, so what do we do about tall, dark, and handsome over there? As I kick my head over to indicating, no, not the fleshy one, the wrapped one.
Who's like almost clawing at your ankles.
Sans flesh.
Yeah, I just like I'm asking him that question as we as the mummy's heart is on the table. I guess my head's cleared of the pounding heartbeats. But it seems to be that let's say I want to say that the mummy's heart it was kind of it landed on the table, but it didn't land like directly on its base. It fell over and it started spinning, and then it like a compass it oriented itself to the mummy itself.
Oh yeah, that's creepy as hell.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I look at Ezra for direction because this is definitely his wheelhouse and definitely not mine. I take a look at the handcuffs still attaching us, and I just kind of regret every bit this entire week. And I want to get out of here so I can just move on with my life.
Yeah, let's just take a moment and regret our entire week.
Yes, let's just.
Shall we?
It's 2020. We're used to regret.
So yeah, I'm looking at now that I can hear him clearly. Like I'm focusing on Ezra. Like I am deferring to the book smart expert before I decide to take matters into my own hands.
So I don't think I actually told anybody what I heard the mummy like. I don't think I actually translated to everybody what the mummy said.
You did not.
No. Basically, I say to her, whatever we do, we can't let him have the heart. He plans to conquer Egypt with the power the heart would give him. Which, according to what I'm reading on this jar, yeah, exactly. According to what's on this jar, that's a lot. There's a lot of power in this thing. But I don't know if you can actually understand what I'm saying with that Skrillex going on in your head.
I will.
As soon as it dropped off the table, I stopped hearing that. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And John, I'm going to ask too, because given where I'm standing, kind of over by the stairs, am I able to hear that? I guess Ezra, are you speaking loud enough that I would hear you?
Yeah, I'm not trying to whisper it. I'm saying it out loud, and so
He's just the archaeologist. Come on, he's not. He has no shady bone in his body.
No,
Okay, so what Ezra communicates.
I'm used to projecting my voice to a classroom.
Yeah.
You want to know what it's dealing with students at 8 in the morning? God.
Yes.
X never, ever, ever marks the spot.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So everyone, Will, Allison, and Veronica have heard that the mummy cannot get the heart. It's very powerful, and he will conquer Egypt and possibly more with it. Anybody want to make a rash decision?
That is totally up Will's. He pulls out his gun. He shoots the jar.
Oh my goodness.
Veronica, were you going to do the same thing?
Well, I wasn't going to do the same thing, but I was going to push.
Uh-oh.
To slow him down and kind of say something like, "You stay here," and then like re-divert my attention to, okay, clearly this is a much bigger situation.
All right, but what happened first was Will's expert reflexes he shot the jar on the table, which shattered.
I'm just like,
turning the
I'm just
heart-
like,
Yeah. And Allison's like, gunshots like right next to me again.
yeah,
And you're shooting ancient relics? What
yeah.
the hell, dude?
That's probably why I yelled.
Well, I mean, did the jar shatter, or did a bullet enter and exit out the other side, and there's blood leading?
Oh no, the jar definitely shattered, and a gross little heart-esque black thing fell on the floor, not on the side of the mummy, but on the other side of the table, and it's just like steaming, magical steam off of it.
Is it like trying to crawl
it
towards the
which-
mummy?
Did
No.
it fall onto the dance floor? Because I'm pretty sure the dance floor is on fire, and
No, it
there's
fell.
fire around the mummy as well,
So-
which we haven't resolved.
So Will's basically on the dance floor, shot at the table, so it's actually closer to that back corner. That
Okay.
Yeah, where I put it.
yeah, sure. So there it is on the ground, exposed for all to see.
Ooh.
So, John, I do have that question though. The dance floor is on fire, right? Like, is that affecting the mummy in any way, shape, or form?
Oh yeah, it's mostly behind the mummy. So
For
any
dramatic
part of him
effect.
that was
It's a very
was
dramatic
hacked
fire.
off- Yeah. Any part of him that was hacked off and left behind is definitely burning up.
Mm.
Very nice.
Is the mummy, other than crawling and being generally kind of menacing in the slow Michael Myers type way, is he saying anything or doing anything?
No,
Okay.
he's just crawling towards the heart. He said what he needed to say. He's a mummy of very few words.
And how does he? I don't think I don't know if I like his campaign strategy. He's
Shamble,
so quiet.
shamble softly and carry a big Kopesh.
You should put that on a
Mum's the
shirt.
word.
Yes, indeed.
That's the
Oh,
word.
oh dear.
Waka waka.
All right. Whose phase is it?
It's up for anyone who'd like to take action.
So I guess the Will did his first, and so my reaction would have been, push Jack down, shoot him in the foot, say, "You stay here, don't move."
Where is the Kopesh at this point in time?
Will has
I have
it.
I
He has a gun in one hand and a Kopesh in the other.
All right. I shout over to Will, just like, I have a handcuff problem. Can you help me out with that sword?
So I have my gun out too, and I just shoot the cuffs.
Or that.
Gosh.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah,
Because that's the thing that happens in movies, right?
Yeah.
It's
they
perfect.
just shoot the cuffs off.
Yeah.
It totally works.
That's more of a movie thing than
Oh, it works? Oh, good.
Oh yeah, it totally works.
I guess what I imagine is happening is that we were basically in our mad scramble as, the heart jar exploded, and we're like reflexively, me and Ezra are pulling against each other on the chain, and suddenly, when this bullet hits the chain link on the cuffs, suddenly we
You're whimsically released from each other and fall
we are,
backwards.
and then we fall over onto, as we were trying to pull away from each other, and I guess Allison is going to start crawling towards the heart and going
Okay.
to try and if she had some sort of outer garment, she's going to take that off and try to wrap it in the garment without touching the heart.
Okay, Ezra, what are you gonna do?
I think shooting the handcuffs off really shook me. I was not looking forward to having a bullet come that close to my hand. But I think I'm a little startled, but I see what Allison's doing, and I'm all for it.
Mhm.
While that's happening, I'm going to yell back and yell, "What do I do? What do I do? How do I help? This is bad."
Uh,
And one of you guys can respond to me. I'm just kind of like.
All right, wait.
trying to make it
Before that, Will, you've just shot the handcuffs free. They're going for the heart on the ground. The mummy is less interesting to you now, and you realize that the whole place is on fire. What is Will thinking?
Well, Will's thinking, that the mummy wasn't as much fun as he thought it would be. And so he sees the heart, and he looks at his Kopesh. So he thinks, hey, I should just like dice this heart with the Kopesh because I already shot it. Shooting didn't kill it. So I got other weapon.
Is he gonna throw the sword, or is he just gonna walk over there and
Well, I
stab
can't.
it?
Oh my gosh.
But Veronica's holding it, so I can't quite.
Veronica is going for it. She hasn't gotten it yet.
Oh, Eva. Okay, I got there. So okay, I just shot the handcuffs off with my right hand with the gun. The left is where the Kopesh. I'm just gonna throw the Kopesh at
Oh my
the heart.
gosh. Would you stop lobbing bullets
Now,
and swords at me?
There is
So-
a table in between the hearts and well, yourself actually.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying I hit it.
Okay, I'm just making sure. So there is. I'm not. This sword being, it is the slap shop of the ancient world, so it might go through everything.
Yeah,
So,
who knows?
so what happens is that Allison is like scrambling towards the heart. She's about to scoop it up, and then like right next to the heart, the sword lands and sticks into the ground, and like lights the floor on fire. And Will's like, "Sorry." So Allison's gonna wrap up the heart in her little outer garment, or maybe the skirts of her, or the fabric of her skirt, and scoop it up. Veronica's yelling, "What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" And Allison, what are you gonna do?
All right, it's back to me, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I imagine when I'm scooping up this heart, I am seeing the sword land right next to me. Do I hear the hearts or anything of that nature right now?
No.
All right.
A lot of that magic came from the jar itself.
Okay. All right. How crazy do I want to take this slow game of ours?
Dial it up to 11.
You want me to
Yeah.
dial it up to 11?
Oh, 100%.
100% times 11. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I have the wrapped up squishy black heart.
Eat it.
In one thing, and I have a sword that cuts through everything in my other hand. Let's say I had some dark feelings about this sort of thing, and I start putting this sword over my own heart.
You're gonna stab yourself?
I am going to attempt to transplant this mummy heart into myself.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Holy moly.
This did take a
Got
turn,
weird
too.
quick.
Does anyone realize what she's doing?
Yeah,
I
I
can't see.
Ezra
I'm behind
probably,
her.
right?
Ezra is kind of just
Well-
like, huh?
Okay, so this is what happens. Is that Allison stabs herself with the Kopesh and transplants, rather grotesquely, the mummy's heart into her own chest. The mummy itself, what's left of it, crawling on the ground, turns to dust. Allison's eyes glow blue. She declares herself a goddess, quenches the fire with a word, and dares anyone to defy her as she begins her grand conquering of the ancient Egyptian empire. And that's the scenario, and that's how it ends.
What? No. Now I have to take her out. What's going on?
Well,
Nope,
come on.
We
I mean-
meet the victory. So the scenario ends when we meet a victory condition on the back of the scenario card. And if we look at the victory conditions, there are 3. We can destroy the mummy, we can return the mummy's heart to him, or we can escape the nightclub. Now, we destroyed the mummy by transplanting the heart into somebody else. Thus, the scenario's over. We could either A, continue playing and make this an entire campaign of destroying Allison, the new Egyptian goddess. We can just call it right there, as the scenario is designed to just be like, oh, it's done. That was the scenario. Who cares about repercussions? Let's play it again a different way. Or we could, we could start the next scenario and say it's 4 months later, what happened? And before we start the next scenario, we have to describe what happened. If we were playing a campaign style.
Well,
So.
and I think if we were doing a campaign style too, there's some other items and other campaigns that we could make it part of the mission of the group is to now we have to take out Allison and we have to get some of these other things that can help us.
I have to say,
do that.
I've played this scenario at least 70 times, right? I've never seen someone put the heart inside themselves before.
Well, sometimes
I do have to say, 50% of the time, someone dies in the fire. Like when we play it at a convention. That very first game we played at a convention once, they killed the mummy, or they incapacitated the mummy, and they all argued about what to do with the artifacts until they all died of smoke inhalation, and the place burned down, and they all died together with the mummy, and they were okay with that. They're like, that seems right. That's what's great about this game is you can play it as a one-off scenario. You can play it as part of a campaign. You could have, instead of using our pre-made characters, we could have used your D&D characters. It's just a scenario. It's just there to play. I've run this scenario with people at, in 20 minutes before, and I think we just played for, an hour?
Yeah.
and
a little over an hour.
Yeah, we make it what we want. So, if we wanted to keep going, we could have kept going.
As I understand it, you also, because I guess I'm a little bit more on the crunchy side of a gamer, so I like dice and things like that. So, and you do have a system that does integrate into this that uses random chance and things like that.
We do. We make suggestions on how to do it, and we've had. If you go to the Destination Danger Facebook group, right, Jeff?
All right.
That's where it is.
Yep. That's right.
We've had fans and players create dice systems and publish them on there. So find the dice system that works for you. I'm always up for an easy D6 system, and the stats are real simple because all the stats are 1 through 10, 1 being the weakest you could possibly be, and 10 being what an Olympian or like a college professor would be, whether it's intelligence or speed or whatever. Everyone has normal human being stats. The monsters have more than that, but but your players are just all normal people for the most part. And so a 1 through 10 stat system works really well. It's not, you have a 5, you can do this. It's you have a 5, you're about an average person. What can an average person do? So.
Well, and I'll add for folks that are looking for that D10 system that we've got posted on our Facebook group. If you go to the pinned topics or the announcements up at the top of the page, you can knock over to that, and there's one from John talking about that system and with an attached PDF. So you can pull that down, take a read. I think there's a ton of really interesting and fun nuance and things that you can kind of get into if you want to bring dice into the game, which adds just an additional layer of complexity and interest to it. But if you're also intimidated by dice, as some people may be, if this is your kind of first role-playing experience, or the scenario I find myself in often is I'm playing with my 5-year-old, and while he might find dice a little bit fun, like he's just sort of into it for the story, and so as the GM, I can kind of just sort of coax him through a bunch of different things. So wanted to maintain some flexibility on that without being too much.
And as a game master, I'm with this game specifically, I'm more about the story and less about sticking to the rules. Now, everyone's got their own style. Everyone's got their their own preferences. I have friends who love sticking to initiative, who everything has to take place in order, and they like it was your turn, now it's your turn, now it's your turn, and then we loop back around. I'm more about like what's going on. But if that's your style, play it that way. We don't care. It's about getting into these stupid situations and having about much fun with whatever's fun for you.
I had one game where they just used your speed as their turn order.
Yeah.
That's the only stat they used the whole time we played.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool. Well, everybody, we want to thank folks for tuning in live to join us and check out the game. This is just one of 5 different scenarios that we have packaged in with Destination Danger. That's both the core set as well as the expansion. If you're looking to pick up a copy of this, you can certainly head over to guardianmoongames.com. That'll link you over to kind of our backer kit page, which is what we've got set up for a shop right now, since this is the only game from Guardian Moon Games at this point. And you can pick up copies there, and we'll get them shipped out to you right away. And if you're looking for the Tabletop Simulator, as Starvin talked about, we've got more to come on that, and really excited to see this get to the Steam Workshop here in the near term with a bunch of different fun things that you guys can do and play there. But really want to thank everybody for jumping in, checking out the stream, checking out the fun that we're able to have with a very simple role-playing experience like this. I want to thank definitely Justin and Randy for joining us tonight and being a part of this. Gentlemen, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for being here.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
See you next time.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thanks, everybody. We'll continue to do more of these in the future. And with that, we'll sign out for tonight.
All right. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for watching.
Okay, Trevin, I went